Welcome to today's podcast. I have got the gorgeous Rachael Harding from Rachael Harding Interiors based in Cheltenham with me. Rachael, congratulations and welcome onto the podcast.
Thank you, Lisa Marie. I am thrilled to be back. My second appearance. I mean, I don't think we recorded before, but very happy to be here with you. Thrilled.
It's lovely. So today we are going to be deep diving into your journey because we've come a long, beautiful way together. You have been in group programs, you've been to events, and you've been a lovely one-to-one client with me. And we're just going to recap on that gorgeous journey and actually what that's done to your business and how that's transformed you as a businesswoman and the business itself.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Yeah, thrilled to have that discussion with you today.
So let's go right back to the beginning. When we first had that initial contact in July, which is a year and a half, 18 months ago, which seems crazy. It's only 18 months ago, but it seems like a lifetime. Where were you at that point in yourself and your business?
Like you say, it seems a while ago, doesn't it? But I think so much was going on. So where I was, I didn't really have a structure to what I was doing. I didn't really have a proper plan. I was reacting to what was coming in. And if lots came in, then that was great. And I muddled through. And if not a lot came in, then you obviously, that sort of typical boom and bust interior design business when you don't have a marketing plan in place and there's things that you need to get in place. So I was doing well, I'm established and things are happening, but I was definitely like, need to really get some help, basically. That's where I was at with all of that.
And then from there, obviously we spoke and we thought it was a really good idea for you to go into Design Destiny, which is obviously our foundational group program that really looks at dismantling the business down and building core key foundational elements for your business. So how did you find that as a starting point?
That was great because a great group of designers and people on different parts of their journey. And, we got into the different sections in the run up through the autumn until Christmas. We're all working, we're all running our businesses and having life and everything. So going at that pace was good, because we could tackle a topic a month, weren't we? And we would have the group calls and the work and the follow up. So that was brilliant. And I really got into it and I was like, yes, here is the gold and the juice, and we're working through all the stuff. So yeah, really, really helpful to sort of do it as a group. I got a lot out of it. And the pace was good.
And from obviously that foundational element, because I know from there you wanted closer proximity and a more immersive experience from like a one-to-one, which we developed into. But from Design Destiny, were there any key elements at that point which kind of really helped you pivot within your business before we went into one-to-one?
Gosh, you're asking me now and I haven't really thought back hard enough about Design Destiny. I think what it did is it just made me feel so much more confident. So I could tick off the things that I knew I was doing, look at the things I wasn't doing. And I think from there, I was like, okay, I can see where my gaps are. And that's when I said to you, I just need one-to-one because I need to motivate, I need to go, I just wanted something which was more bespoke and was at a pace that was more suited to what I was doing, which I was sort of right. I was probably a little bit more advanced in my business journey than maybe some people, not necessarily, but I'm definitely not a newbie, so it just seemed like the right fit, didn't it? And we went off, kicked off in January then, one-to-one.
So talk to me about where your business was there and your one-to-one experience, because obviously we're going to cover loads of amazing transformations as you go on, and you've had some amazing rewards over 2025 with your events, your awards ceremonies. There's been so many lovely things, but when we went into one-to-one, what was your experience?
Well, my experience is I had a fairy godmother, as I used to call you. So there's something incredibly powerful about that, not even just that, to know that you've got somebody with experience and you've got skin in the game with them. And there's something amazing about that, because we're all, well, not all, but there's so many of us doing it from home or doing it from our studio on our own. And to have the physical input and support is amazing. And also then the accountability and knowing that you're going to have a meeting, you know, it makes you pull your socks up and get on with it. Because I've learned that I'm a procrastinating perfectionist, which is like a horrendous combination when you come to running a
Sounds
business, because
great,
you want it,
doesn't it?
you know, you want it perfect. So you sort of procrastinate about a bit, but you know, business got to go on, girl, and things have got to happen. And so I think I was saying to you earlier, you know, I've learned to embrace imperfect action. Okay, so when I came in to coaching, I was like, oh God, you know, people are going to discover I haven't quite got this all, like, you know, ironed out yet. And then you're like, oh, no, but so is nobody else. And it's okay to say you don't know about this, or you haven't really tried this, or you've tried this and it hasn't worked. So that ability to sort of say to you, it's hard, it's hard.
Yeah. But it's so great. Do you know, I meet so many women that actually say that, that, you know, when I talk to them about coaching and mentoring, and they're like, oh, well, I haven't got all of this sorted, so I'm going to wait till I work through all of that, sort all of that, and I'm going to create some lists, and I'm going to really find out what I need, and then I'll come back to you. And I'm like, no, this is the point. I step in and help you dismantle and look at all of the groundwork that we need to cover. You're just doing the work, and I'm going to go back and make you do that work. So you don't want to double handle work in the first place. And they think they need to have everything sorted out for me to go in and then just break it all back down again.
Yeah. Well, because we're all being, you know, you have to be vulnerable and exposed, and nobody likes that. You know, we all want to come to the table with it all together.
Polished.
Having worked with you in group programs and come to the Christmas party, like the first Christmas party, and Decorex and all the places where we met in that autumn, and getting to know you, it's just like, okay, you know, she can come in my laundry cupboard with me and see all the dirty stuff, you know, she can come in because she's lovely and kind and not judgy, you know, got her own laundry cupboard.
Absolutely, that's piled high with sheets that don't match and unfolded crap everywhere from the kids pulling it all out.
You know the analogy. So meeting you and knowing you, and then I was like, I've just got to spend the money and make the investment and move forward with this, you know? Because I'd spent quite a long time running, that was 24, wasn't it? 24. Yeah. So my business was 12 years old, 11 and a half years old, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'd never spent any money on it, and never spent any money on myself. And I was like, God, you know, let's go. Let's see where the gaps are and where we can improve things.
Yeah, because I know for you, like you said, you know, over the 12 years, you hadn't really invested in someone to kind of hold your hand and take you on that journey to show you how to maybe work smarter or faster, or fill in gaps in certain ways, or, you know, try this might work even faster than this. So it was a huge commitment.
Yeah, but I've never worked for another designer. So I'm completely self-taught, and, you know, I came from the trade. I was in the fabric and wallpaper game, and then hotel game, and then I came into interiors, and everything I've done is self-taught. And that's great. You can do it like that, but you get to a point where, you know, I'm a self-taught designer, and then you realize you've got to be a business. You know, really, I think what's changed is now when people say, what do you do? Like, I say to them, I run an interior design business. That's what I say to people now. I have an interior design business. And they go, oh, I don't say I'm an interior designer, which is part of my identity and who I am, but I don't say that anymore, because I am a business owner first and foremost.
Talk to me about the mindset, because obviously this is an integral part of business that's actually, most interior designers, when I meet them for the first time, they get taken back a little bit by surprise when they say, oh, you're doing mindset work as well. What does that relevance have to do with it? But obviously we have the business strategy and the soulful mindset work, and they equally marry beautifully. But what has your experience been in Design Destiny and working one-to-one together of the importance of mindset in your business?
But just how resistant I was to it. That was what was so interesting. Is in the beginning within Design Destiny and doing our mindset work, I was like, what's this about? Yeah. So I've learnt with all of the mental health learning that I have done over the last few years is that now when you have the resistance, that's the area you need to focus on. So I was all, no, it's mumbo jumbo, and, you know. And then I started to break it down and wonder, why was I so resistant to it? And then the limiting beliefs underneath all of that, you need to get into it, basically, because there's nothing wrong with admitting that it's there. I think that's the problem. Like I said, at the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I've got to have it. I've got to have it all. But we don't, because we're all a product of the lives and the education and the families that we've had and the experiences we had, haven't we? So yes, I found it interesting that in the beginning, I was very resistant. And then having had the one-to-one through January all the way to May, and we met at Homegrown at the end of that process. I'm jumping to the end now. We can go back if you want to, but basically at the end of that process, I'm working with you for 5 months, and the strategies and the events and all the things that we did together, you said to me, this is amazing and your strategy going forward will work, but that's only 20. I don't know whether you remember this, but you said that's only 20% of it for you personally. The 80% is the fact that you got to get your mind set in the game. And that was a really big wake-up call to me, because I was like, yes, I realise now that the things that I want to achieve, the goals, the bigger goals I have, they're going to happen with grit and grind. But actually, if I really look at what is holding me back, it was my own mindset.
And do you know what? To be able to sit there and admit that as well, I think so many
Yeah.
women are going to be able to resonate with that, because I've had previous clients that have worked with me on one-to-one, and they've just really wanted to avoid the mindset work because they come from generational backgrounds where that is just not done. That's a no-no. Like, we don't talk about that. And it's almost opening up and saying, look, we have to address it. And once we address it, you're going to go from here to here. And right now you're down here, and we just need to break through and work through those barriers. And I think what's the big scary thing sometimes is every woman, it is vulnerability, and you don't want to sit there and maybe not look like you got your shit together. And it's like, well, actually, I am having imposter syndrome. I do have that self-limiting belief. I am feeling that. And that's okay to say, I have got this, and what's the toolkit to fix it in order for me to level up, step into my next higher self. So, it's a really brave thing to be able to openly admit that. So thank you.
Well, it's a very brave thing to say to somebody who you're coaching. You need to go away and work on yourself. That was our sort of parting hug, basically, at Homegrown. We had our day, didn't we? We had our wonderful day there.
Yeah.
We talked about it all. And I have done an enormous amount of work. I'm trying to reprogram all of that to be able to, I know I'm a great designer. I know I have a great business. I have many, many things which are positive and life affirming and all those things. I feel in such a different place because of the work over the last 6 months that I've done. It's a game changer.
It's amazing. I love that. So let's talk about some of the big successes you've had for 2025, because I feel off the back of the work that we did in the group together in 2024, and then certainly, the entry level work we started when we worked together in the first quarter of 2025.
Yeah.
Lots of beautiful things started happening in the business. Talk us through some of those successes.
So January was great because we got into being really clear on your services. So that was number one. And that was great because, and I say it, I've done so much networking in the last few months as well. And when people say, what do you do? And if it does slip out that I'm an interior designer, the first thing I say to them is, what does that mean I do? And I'm often met with blank. Because interior design, no, what would my services be, So that was a game changer. So I said, I do paint consultancy. A room would be this much. 2 rooms would be this much. And I know you're a great advocate of Instagram and social media and getting us out there. And so I did stories saying, you can book me for a paint consultation. And people booked me. Ta-da! Because I went on and showed my face and said, this is what I do and this is how I do it. And people rang up and said, oh, is that what you do? Okay, brilliant. Yes, I'll have some of that. So that was, it seems so obvious now. Okay. But when you're just running your business and doing your thing, that sort of head above the parapet and doing the social media. So that was like, things like that started to happen. I created another service called Signature Design Service, where people wanted more than just paint. Maybe they were starting a project and they wanted an overall design scheme. They didn't want full interior design. So, I launched that Signature Design Service. Off that went. It was this sort of somebody else's eyes on the business saying you could offer these sorts of things. And I felt challenged by it. I was like, I don't know whether I want to do it like that. But people wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like paint consultancy is now like a mainstay of my business. Like I do it all the time, and I do big runs and small ones, and it's great work, and I fit it in amongst all the other stuff, and it's it's instant. They pay and I do it, and they pay and I do it, and it's great for cash flow and all those sorts of things. But I love doing it, and the transformation is just so brilliant. So anyway, so the service breakdown, number one, signature design. Came to the visionary, that was amazing. The first visionary, I was in at the beginning, Lise. That was a great event. Loved that. That was absolutely brilliant. And then other things started to happen. I did lives with you. I went on radio shows. And I think talking about your business journey or what you do and talking to people, it helps you, doesn't it, on your way. So that was all brilliant. And then I was planning an open day in February, and the worst thing happened in that I lost my dad, and it was desperate and awful. And you were amazing and supported me with all of your heart through it all. So it was very, very beautiful of you to be there with me through all of that. So we delayed open day until later in March. And then doing that was sort of an ode to him, really, and like, keep going, girl. I had my open day and that was amazing. And, nerve-wracking and inviting all these people in, and it was amazing. So we did that.
The most wonderful, for the people listening, Rachel has the most beautiful, wonderful studio in Cheltenham on the high street, and it was gorgeous. And you wanted this fire and injection brought back into the studio. And I remember we working through different things on the positioning of it and how to bring people in off the street and what you can do and what you could host there. And I remember obviously the open day, it was just such a gorgeous transformation. And even in like the 6 months that we've been working together, to go from like 6 months of feeling that to then 6 months of having that already, that was such a huge moment in your business, and one that we really celebrated.
Yeah, no, that was brilliant. And it's just confidence boosting, because within those few weeks, I also entered we've got a local digital media company here in Gloucestershire called SoGloss. They have lifestyle awards, and I entered the property and interiors section as a local business. And I was up against all sorts of fancy, local, beautiful, bespoke kitchen people, all sorts of people entered. And basically I was shortlisted, and then how it works is your clients have to vote for you, like as the proof that you are the good person and you do know what you're doing and all of that. And my amazing customers voted. So that was amazing to be Gloucestershire's, award-winning interior designer. They're amazing. And like, again, it's momentum, isn't it? And confidence building. So yeah, it was brilliant. So all of that support to sort of just keep going and doing that, and like manifesting the win. I had my clients to thank. My amazing clients helped me get the win. So yeah, they were brilliant. And then off the back of the award, I was like, okay, more of this connection. I have an amazing friend, Sarah Jane. She runs a brilliant ladies boutique also in Cheltenham, and I've done 3 events now in her wonderful ladies wear boutique in Cheltenham. And I've had evening design events, again, all done on stories, because Lisa leads the way on the stories. Get on stories, people. Tell them what you're doing.
Tell them what you do.
Tell them what you're doing.
Don't be hidden. Yes.
Don't be hidden. Exactly, darling. Exactly. So we've done these events. People have come. They've learnt about me and how I am, and the fact that I'm quite approachable and not a terrifying interior designer. and again, just so brilliant. So I did events with Bodega, and then the award-winning hotel, the Greenway, the wonderful Greenway, 5-star here in Cheltenham, I did an event with them. So, you know, success breeds success, doesn't it? You sort of, yeah, you get on a roll. And I love a bit of razzmatazz, as you know. You know, I'm from, you know, I sort of grew up in the interior design business with, you know, the wonderful Osborne and Little, and that sort of whole showtime, having an event, inviting people in. It's part of my DNA. You know, I absolutely love it. So to be able to do it just for me and my things, and, you know, it's amazing.
And doing it in your studio as well, and allowing people to come in and feel your energy and connect with you in your business. And it's very easy for designers to just shut the door and say, oh, well, I'm going to wait for them to come to me. But actually, that's the wrong attitude. We need to actively be thinking, how am I going to let people know about me? And obviously, this was a huge passion of yours from coming from the industry of what you were in and what you knew and what you really were elite and excelled in, to want to bring a part of that into Cheltenham and into your studio, and to be able to collaborate. And I think from that, it's had a beautiful momentum snow roll of, you know, everyone knowing who Rachael is. Everyone should have a Rachael in their homes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah. This is what I say to people. I say an interior designer is like a puppy. It's just not for Christmas, it's for life.
Yeah, it's for life. You need
That's what I say to them. That's what I say to the husbands when they see me on the drive, like, oh God, you're here again.
Oh God, she's here to waste more of my money. No,
she's
remember,
back.
It's not for Christmas, it's for life.
Exactly. That's my little phrase I say to the worrying other halves. Yeah, it's just given me, working with you has just given me, and being on the journey together has given me some peace and some stillness, but also sort of energy at the same time. So it's knowing that you've got your ducks in a row and that you're working on your things, and that it's not, you know, it's not built in a day. I think, I mean, my mantra now is, you know, the imperfect action, which I, you know, struggle with daily, but I have to remind myself, you know, you've got to get the post out, or you've got to get the story out. In fact, one of the ones I did for Bodega, the story saying we had a few tickets left, I kid you not, I was in their store for all of 2 minutes. And I went in and I got my phone and hi, we're doing the event and I'd like to come, ping, post. I don't think I even looked at it. I was like, because you just gotta like take the imperfect action. I know I was having a bad hair day at that day, you know, but nobody's judging. No. And if they are, good luck to them.
They're not your tribe anyway.
They're not my tribe.
Yeah.
So the event I had a couple of weeks ago. Last week. Oh my God, time moving so fast. Yeah. I had an event last week. I haven't told you this. I had a designer come all the way from Reading, a budding new designer, to meet me because she'd listened to me on the other podcast.
Is this Philippa?
Yes!
Yes. Oh, yeah. She said she's listened to your podcast, and I was like, I recognise that lady that you're watching, and that lovely, she's doing lots of lovely film work. So for me, that was just such a moment, because building this gorgeous community of women, and then people listening to podcasts from the beginning and saying, oh, I want to connect with that woman. And yeah, that was just amazing.
Yeah, brilliant. I know when she said how she'd sort of learned about me and through Design Boss and everything, I was like, oh, I can't wait to tell Lisa. So yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it?
I was so excited when I saw it. I was like, that just makes
designers supporting designers,
absolutely.
You know?
And it's all about connection, community, and conversation. It's the 3 C's that I'm really, really honing in on this year, and making sure that, you know, women get access to all of the support, all of the tools, all of the connections. And this is why the podcasts are so important, because they reach so many women, and then women can connect with one another when they've listened to a podcast and go find, you know, another designer. Because I think there's such an air out there that I've been to so many events in the interior design industry where it feels a little bit stuffy, and you can't approach certain people, and it's just, you come away thinking, oh, well, yeah, the talk was great, but I didn't connect with anyone, and, you know, it just felt all a little bit too tight. And I don't want women to experience that. I really don't. And I came from a lot of gatekeeping when in the early years in my business, when I was starting out. So I know how daunting it can be. So for another designer to feel like they can listen to something, feel completely held in a harness and say, I'm going to contact that designer, I'm going to go and see her at the event. For me, that is just so beautiful, because it means that the right energy is being spread amongst the community. And
Yeah, definitely.
I just love seeing people group together, and then they pop up in London and they're all having dinner, or some are having drinks, and then they're like, oh, we're going to this event together. And it's just really lovely.
Yeah, because we are like, as we said, we're all, a lot of us are doing it on our own. So to have your design tribe and to learn from each other, really important.
So before we part ways, which I never like to do, I could have you on all day to talk to you. If someone was thinking about going into either Design Destiny or working on a one-to-one or investing in a coach and mentor, what would your advice be for them?
I would say that you need to have a little look at yourself and be honest with where you're at, and then just go for it. Just work out what your needs are, like really work out what is it I need help with, but just invest, because you can do it the hard way, the long road. But if you get help, and really good help, then it's just so motivating and life affirming, and then off you go, and you've got somebody there, got your back. In the time when we were working together, I know I had things come in and I would ring you up, or I'd email you, so I've got this situation. What do I do with this? What would you do with this? Invaluable.
And it's lovely to be able to support women, be their wing women, isn't it, as well? It's lovely to have that in your business, because like you say, it's so lonely.
Yeah. It is. So
no,
definitely just reach out to Lisa and her brilliant programs.
Thank you, Rachel. That's love, feeling the love down the podcast. Well, here is to 2026, to Rachael Harding Interiors.
Yes.
And all
all that she has planned,
and all that you have planned, and all of your amazing successes. And I can't wait to see you flourish even more so this year. I just feel like you're this butterfly that the wings keep getting bigger and more colourful and just keep spreading, and it's just so lovely to watch you from where you were when we first had that conversation in 2024 to where you are now. And it's been an absolute pleasure and honour to be a part of your beautiful business journey. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Lise. I'm very grateful to you. You know that.
I know. Thank you. Sending kisses. Perfect. Thank you so much for today's podcast, and I'll be back with another episode real soon. Take care.